my good friend apparently is gone.
Oh, sounds like he's all over it, and I personally am excited about it. Joining me now, Senator from the great state of Tennessee, Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, this is pretty exciting stuff. Joe Biden is all over this border situation. It is a little late in the year, Senator. I don't know if my watch is off, but I'm glad he's all over this thing.
Yes, and he has been telling us the border's secure. Mayorkas, the border is secure. Kamala Harris, the border is secure. And now all of a sudden, because the American people are screaming over this issue, it is issue number one, he's decided to go see about the border. And of course, now it is all the Republicans' fault. That's what he is trying to say. And we all know this open border is Joe Biden's border policy. In his first 100 days, he took 94 executive actions, memos, and orders to weaken immigration law, to make it easier to make illegal entry legal, and to open up that border. And the American people are saying, Tennesseans are saying, we need to protect our country. We need to protect our communities. Drugs are in every community, human trafficking, sex trafficking. You have crime that is on the rise, much of it by gangs that are linked to groups that are coming across the southern border.
Senator, I'm glad you actually touched on this last part. I'm glad you talk about this. I was doing a little bit of reading yesterday about Venezuela and how their violent crime problem has dropped dramatically in the last few years. And when you dig into the numbers, you find out they managed to push all their gangs out of their country and into ours. All that violent filth from Venezuela is now in Tennessee.
They have cleared the jails, is what we understand. Oh. And their criminals have been given passage into Mexico and the southern border, and then they're being pushed into the United States. And Jesse, isn't it so interesting that when they do find a criminal illegal alien and try to send them back to Venezuela, Venezuela will not take them. So there you have it. And they're exporting their problems and their issues. And we know Cuba, we're hearing Cuba has done this. We're hearing Venezuela has done this, as well as other countries.
Senator, that sounds like what Castro did to us back in the day. Senator, it's getting back to this illegal immigration stuff and holding our people accountable, because we did this to ourselves. The president, Mayorkas, we did this. Mayorkas is now impeached in the House, as you well know, and now there are all kinds of rumors flying that the Senate is simply not going to have a trial. I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen. Is that a thing that's going to happen?
We understand that Chuck Schumer is trying to find a workaround because he does not want to have this trial. He does not want to have his senators that are in red states like Ohio, like Montana. He does not want them to be voting on this issue. But Jesse, here is what we do know. Under President Donald Trump, we had a secured border, and you saw a drop in illegal crossings. You didn't have these hundreds of terrorists coming to the border. You didn't have tens of thousands of people from countries of interest. And that border was under control, and our Border Patrol was supported. This is why President Donald Trump is being welcomed back to the border. And I think it's probably why Joe Biden has decided now he's going to go down there and see what this is about. Can you imagine? He has been in public service for 50 years and has never been out on patrol with the Border Patrol. He's never been down there actually on the border to see what the issue is all about.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this government shutdown, CR thing. Senator, I just can't get over how criminal it is that the fiscal cliff we're heading towards is coming, and everyone knows it's coming. Republicans know it's coming. Democrats know it's coming, and no one wants to cut a dime. That's not fair. We're never cutting a dime. We don't cut any money at all. We just talk again how we don't. We brag about it. Chuck Schumer bragged about it last time, how we didn't cut a nickel. It's uncanny to me how crazy these people are.
And we're $34 trillion in debt, and we're mortgaging the future of our children and our grandchildren. I worry about this every day as a mom and a grandmom. I worry about the effect on my children and grandchildren from some of these policies and this ramped up spending that we got through COVID that now this administration considers to be normal. And of course, we have to start cutting what we spend. Every year I file 3 bills calling for 1%, 2%, or 5% across the board spending cuts. I also have legislation that would freeze spending and freeze federal hiring and freeze federal salaries so we can start to reduce the size of not only the budget, but the federal workforce. It is time for us to skinny up these agencies. It is time for us to use technology, and it is time for us to be smart about how we deliver government services.
Senator, can you tell me how that 1%, we're not even going to focus on the 5% one, which I love, by the way, but how's the 1% one received in your own caucus? How is there not universal GOP acceptance of something as tiny as 1%, a tiny improvement? What do they tell you when you bring this forward?
A penny out of a dollar. You know, and it would be a penny out of a dollar for everything except your military and your veterans services, the security services. But all of these agencies, go find a penny out of a dollar for how you're running that agency and make certain that you're saving that money for future generations. And it wouldn't touch your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, but all these other departments, Jesse, they can find a penny out of a dollar. They can find a way to run the Department of Ag and Commerce and the courts and all these different areas more efficiently and save that money. And they could find a way to get the job done if you freeze federal hiring. They could find the way to get the job done if you freeze federal salaries. The point is, government has gotten too big and too expensive for the taxpayer to afford. And the taxpayer is saying, we are way overbought on the bureaucracy that we have, and we are way overtaxed, and we want to make certain we keep more money in our pockets and not send it to the federal government to waste.
Senator, are we going to shut the government down? Is that coming? I know there was a big meeting today. Everyone's talking about a partial shutdown. What's the latest and greatest on this?
Yeah, you know, Jesse, I don't think they'll shut it down. I think they'll find a workaround. No one wants the government to shut down. Shutdowns are expensive because employees basically get paid vacation and then they get their money back when the government opens back up. What we want to do is see a smart approach to keeping the government open and beginning to exercise some government reform. And my hope is, with a President Donald Trump back in office, that this will be a priority. Take some of that power away from the bureaucracy and make certain that Congress is exercising their Article 1 authority and that they're doing it in a timely manner and doing it in a way that is respectful to the American taxpayer.
Senator, appreciate you so much.